afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Lyle Peacock Field here in Toronto for this afternoon's big clash in the Newcastle Rugby League between the Macquarie Scorpions hosting the South Newcastle Lions. It's the major semi-final here today, and after 80 minutes, we'll find out who will progress through to the 2016 Newcastle Rugby League Grand Final. Earlier today, we caught up with the coach of the Scorpions. Here's Adam Bettridge. What a night last night at the presentation awards, not just for you, mate, but the entire club.
Yeah, for sure. It was a big night for the club, and it's good to be recognised for a few awards. But we know how big this weekend is, and I think speaking from my point of view, like I said last night, mate, you'd probably give them all back to get the win this weekend, and get that grand final.
Yeah, mate, you had the bye last week. What have you done? Have you done anything different, to keep the boys focused for this week?
No, you don't need to, mate. All your work should be done by now, and if you're still doing work now and to improve, then you're going to struggle. So we just gave them a bit of a freshen up, mate. Had a bit of fun at training, and we know what's in front of us, and we'll be ready.
Yeah, you said that you know what's in front of you. They'll come here with their game plan. You don't want to give too much away, but what can we expect?
Oh, look, I think last time at Townsend Oval they really dusted us on the ground the first 20 minutes. They started well, and both fronties have got a great ball carrier in Taylor and Simpson, especially Taylor, who was outstanding last game. So, look, we're going to have our work cut out in the middle. Liam Higgins, class and on, who loves to run, test your markers out, and test the big boys out. So, look, it's going to be one in the middle. We understand that, and we've got to be better there this week if we think we're going to beat them.
Yeah. Away from the game, talk to me about the life as a coach out here at Macquarie. That morning of game day, what do you do to prepare yourself?
Yeah, I like to just be on my own. I like to get here early, but first things, at home I'm on my own. I'd like to go and just do something on my own and get my head in the game myself, and I'd like to get out here and watch all the grades and help the lower grades out, and then, once first grade's nearly ready, my coaching staff take over and they warm them up, and I get just to, get them when they come back in the shed, and then for the next 80 minutes, we sit down and enjoy the footy.
And the day after, I guess, it's straight into analysing?
Yeah, for sure. You got to, I think it's so important these days that you do a lot of computer work and video work, and it's one of the big parts of the game and where the game's moving, especially around here, to get that little advantage. So definitely, the next day you're looking at videos, and or if you're not going to another ground to watch teams play, I like to get out and about, and I think you get a bit more of a better idea when you're watching teams live. I like to get out and have a look.
Mate, you've been a part of this culture here now on the lake. What have you learnt? What do the people out this way expect from their rugby league team?
Oh, I think the culture's changed so much this year, mate. The culture out here this year is tremendous. They're a hard-working club now, and they work hard on and off the field, and the community need that. The community need a successful club. Not only in first grade, I think in the past it's all been about first grade, but clubs are built on having a strong club, not just your first grade side. So it's awesome to play a home game out here, mate. I won't lie, when they're on your side and you turn up and there's people everywhere, and everyone's seen how passionate these people are out here. Some call them mad or lunatics or whatever, but they're just passionate about rugby league, and it's great for the area. And I know it was hard coming here as a coach, but it's great coming here when you're coaching them.
And of course, for the people that may not know, who only tune into finals football, you were associated with South Newcastle Lions over the last few years as well.
Yeah, for sure. South gave me a start at Townsend Oval, and they gave me that. But before I went to South, I actually coached with Greg Hurrell through my juniors, and Greg basically taught me the reins, and what's right and what's wrong. And I've got a lot of respect for the Hurrell family. And what they've done for me in football to get me to where I am. So I've still got plenty of good friends in there. Still got a few people probably don't like me as well, but it'll be good to play them this weekend. And they're going really well. They're 9 on the trot. They're going for 9 on the trot. They're the form team in town, and they're going to come out here and give it to us. And I just want a good game of footy. That's what we're after.
Mate, what would you say to the fans to encourage them to get down here on the weekend?
Oh, look, guys, we just want everyone down here to give us the best crack we can to get to this grand final first in there, and give the town what they're after. So if you're not doing anything on Sunday, come down to Peacock, get your green shirts on, and let's have a bit of fun and make it as hard as we can for South.
We'll see you Sunday.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, what a week it has been for Adam, of course, picking up, as we just discussed there, the Coach of the Year for 2016. It's been a big week here at Macquarie. They also won a number of other awards at the Newcastle presentation night throughout the week. Let's have a chat now to the representative player and the Player of the Year, Macquarie's Blake Gallen.
Yeah, mate, it was good. It's a good honour. There's a lot of good footballers out there in this comp at the moment, mate. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud to get that.
Mate, you got South on the weekend. One game away from the GF.
Yeah, mate, that's right. When you look at it like that, we've got to step it up a notch from the last time we played them, mate. No doubt about that, because we know they will. Got a quality side, and yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be a good game.
Yeah. What did you just learn from the defeat a few weeks ago?
Yeah, hang on to the ball and don't give them a sniff. Probably really sums that up. Like we let them back into that game, mate, and they took every opportunity. So that's what the good sides do.
Back on home soil, mate. The fans be here.
Yeah, it'll be good. That'll be good, mate. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we can keep our run going out here.
We're counting down the kick-off. We're only a few minutes away, so we'll take a break and come back here for the major semi-final between the Macquarie Scorpions and the South Newcastle Lions. So it's the Macquarie Scorpions running right to left on the screen. Today signifies the conclusion of what has been, as I said, a competitive home and away season. Here's a runaway try. The crowd getting excited as Tim Christie put the fire extinguisher on that man. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to a jam-packed major semi-final here at Lyle Peacock Field. Don't go anywhere for the next few hours. You're right here on the home of Newcastle Rugby League, Bar TV Sports. What an absolute ripper of a match we witnessed yesterday. Western Suburbs making their way through to week 3 of the semi-final series. And, of course, they'll take on today's loser up at Curry, up at the Graveyard next Sunday afternoon. Of course, today's clash, well, the winner will go through to the Newcastle Rugby League Grand Final. Who will it be? That's the question. That's the question on everybody's lips here this afternoon. Our commentary side, like yesterday, Tom Taylor. He'll be down on the touchline thanks to Benedict Waste Recycling. And this man, Morgan Campbell, he's been in the box all year. He's made his way out here to Toronto for the major semi-final. Afternoon to you, Morgan Campbell.
Afternoon, Peter. Beautiful afternoon, as yesterday was. And a big crowd in here, and I think an expectant crowd too, because Macquarie have been the best side all season. They've won the minor premiership. And I think a lot of people around this ground today are thinking that for the first time since 1991, this could be their year. And a win today gets them into the grand final for the second year in a row. It's a big occasion, and it's a crowd befitting it.
Well, we've been coming here now for a couple of years on Bar TV Sports, but this crowd is really pumped. The grandstand is absolutely packed in like sardines. And Tom Taylor, you're down on the touchline, and the ground, mate, is in an absolute pitcher.
Yeah, mate, it is Wembley Stadium down here, nice and spongy. No cricket pitch, so a pleasure to play on. We've just got a couple of kids lining up here just for a some sort of presentation. We just had our reserve grade fixture finish. West Newcastle won in extra time, so we've had our first game of the day. It's gone extra time. Maybe we'll have another one, Pete.
Exactly, mate. Well, let's go through the lower grade scores. Earlier today in the under-19s, Lakes United 30, defeated Central 10. In open grade, it was also the Curry Bulldogs knocking off Western Suburbs 12. Well, right now we've just got a presentation out there. We've got the young kids from the Wanji Warriors out there as well. They're going to be our guard of honour here this afternoon. Tom, it's a magical feeling this afternoon down on the touchline.
Yeah, mate, as you said, we're shoulder to shoulder here on the commentary side. A little bit different over on the far side. The crowd aren't allowed to drive their cars in, so it may look a bit bare, but hey, there's plenty of people here, don't you worry about that.
Well, also this afternoon we're going to have a guard of honour for today's informed side of the Macquarie Scorpions minor premierships. They're going to be having the guard of honour thanks to the Macquarie United's First Division 7-1. So a nice touch for the young fellas to come out here today and I guess inspire into being a Macquarie Scorpion down the track. Beautiful afternoon, as we said, a temperature reaching probably around 18, 19 degrees. A lot of people saying this could be the grand final in a fortnight. Western Suburbs, of course, yesterday, decimated with injuries. They went into that match with 4. They've suffered probably at least another 3. So they're going to have one hell of a week and call on a lot of depth, I guess, Tom, if they're going to take part in the grand final in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, Pete, I just want to touch on that. West Newcastle just played in their reserve grade side, and I believe 2 players that won the first grade semi-final yesterday did back up in this reserve grade game, in Tim Holman and the other one. It was Who was it? I can't remember. Dryden, David
It was
Dryden.
David Dryden, yeah, came off the bench. Of course, he started for Mark Tafua. Well, Souths, they are the form team, no doubt about that, in town. The Lions, they have not lost a match since the 26th of June. And in jersey 6 for Souths, well, we know who that is. It's Willie Hedder. Willie was honoured, of course, this week with the Players' Player of the Year in the NRL. He is also the competition's highest point scorer of the year. So congratulations to Willie Hedder. An unbelievable season. And, of course, that's his second year in the Newcastle Rugby League competition, of course, coming down from Cessnock to join Souths. In jersey number 5, well, we have Jared Flanagan. He has been the competition's leading try scorer with 15 tries. He has smoked a burn. And I'll tell you what, he's not ready to give up a few more points come today, Morgan. He's here and he's ready and he's here to rattle.
Well, that's their side, isn't it? I mean, we've seen it the last few weeks. South, they love to go to that right-hand edge. They've got Jake Lawrence there, who's scored more tries than any other forward in the competition this year. I think he's still in about 4th place in the overall try-scoring standings. Then they've got Tim Christie. Then they've got Jared Flanagan on that side as well. So it's a very dangerous edge for them, and we'll be seeing them go that way a lot. Of course, you mentioned Willie Hedder. Well, there wasn't much contest. He was their best last week. He won them the game with his plays in the last 20 minutes. They looked like they were flagging, it must be said, against West. It looked like West were getting over the top of them, and then Hedder came up with one absolute beauty of an assist from about the 20-metre line. He did 14 laps of the field and finally threw the killer pass for the Jared Flanagan try, and then put the field goal over to put them 7 points clear. So that's the key side. It's going to be Hedder, Lawrence, Flanagan. You'll imagine they'll see a lot of ball today.
Also looking up into the distance here. Not a cloud in the sky, so we've got perfect conditions. But key matchups on the park today. Willie Hedder versus Scotty Briggs. Really looking forward to that one. Rex Johnson has come down from the Queensland Cup. He's played a number of games since coming down, of course, for in half-back against Andrew Sumner. And also Liam Higgins taking on Chris Hyde. What a battle that's going to be.
Well, it's not a surprise, Peter. I mean, you've got some of the best halves in the competition who are here on this big occasion. That's just how it goes. I mean, Willie Hedder has been one of the best all season in the comp. It's no surprise that his side is in the last 3. And the same can be said for Scott Briggs and also for Andrew Sumner. So, you know, probably the best pairing in the competition, and they're one game away from the grand final as well. That spine of the team is so important, and both of these sides have got those positions covered very well.
Yeah, there must be a few thousand in here today at Lyle Peacock Field. Let's go down to the touchline. Tom, you got any news before kick-off, mate?
Oh, not so much news, but just talking about the key matchups, I can't wait to see Brendan Simpson up against Adam Swadling. Brendan Simpson used to play for Macquarie back in the day. South signed him because he couldn't break first grade consistently, and now he's excelling at South. So the big boppers up against each other. I can't wait to see the collisions.
Yeah, he's been tremendous this year, Brendan Simpson. A lot of games, I noticed it particularly at Townsend Oval when they played West in the regular season. West was starting to steamroll them, and Brendan Simpson really lifted that forward pack. James Taylor has also been very strong in the last few weeks, so that front row is going to be a big battle in the middle today.
So we're just waiting now for both of these sides to come out onto the field. As I said, the Guard of Honour for today is formed by Macquarie United's First Division 1-7 side. What an honour for those little fellas about to welcome out their local heroes. It's been a big week for the Macquarie Scorpions off the field as well. Adam Bettridge named Coach of the Year. Blake Gallen picked up the Representative Player of the Year, and also the NRL Player of the Year. Thiessen Vivalielli, look out for him again today. He's the Scorps' leading point scorer. He's picked up 5 tries and 50 goals this year. But I guess the majority of today's Scorpion side have averaged between 13 and 17 games between them. They are the minor premiers, and the crowd in here today, well, I'm looking around, they've fastened up their seatbelts.
Well, you mentioned about the amount of games that everybody's played. I mean, they've had that consistency with their squad. They started off, of course, they had Scott Briggs injured in the first trial of the season. That didn't help. But once he came back in, they've been basically rolling out the same team every week. And the other thing about them, I guess, is that Macquarie sides in the past always had a lot of skill and a lot of flair, but they always gave you a chance in a game. They always had a mistake in them at the wrong time, and they give away a penalty, that sort of thing. Adam Bettridge has got that out of them this year. They're not doing that sort of thing in the big moments of the games. And so games that in the last 1 or 2 years they might have lost, this season they're winning them. And that's why they're here today, and that's why they might be in the grand final in a couple of weeks.
As I mentioned, the young kids are here from Macquarie United. And just going through the Macquarie Scorpions juniors in first grade, Matt Simon, I think you'll find he came from Macquarie United. Matt Hay, Andrew Subner, Scotty Briggs and Isaac Briggs, of course. Brock Harmer came from South Lakes Juniors. Ty Alchin, also from South Lakes. Randall Briggs played for Macquarie United. Jordan Noble and Adam Grew. So a plethora of Macquarie United schoolboys in first grade after 20 years from when they all started in rugby league. So we're just waiting for the sides to come onto the field in reserve grade. If you just tuned to the coverage, we went into extra time. So that's put us back a few moments.
Oh, it was a stellar game too, and that means that's West now qualified for a grand final. They won the game in extra time, and that means there's now 5 teams who are already qualified. Lakes, of course, have got a team. Their 19s are into the grand final. West's gone through in reserve grade. Curry have gone through in open grade, and whoever wins today will go through as well. So you can guarantee there'll be at least 5 different clubs represented, with Cessnock playing Central in the under-19s next week. And I think that's good for the competition, have all the clubs there in one form or another on grand final day.
Tommy, the atmosphere it's building, it's electric down there on the touchline.
It is, mate. You want me to get a couple of opinions from the crowd?
Definitely, mate. Go for it.
All right, mate. Who do you think's going to win?
No one today, mate. Sure, the refs.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear that. That was terrible. As you can see, Pete, they're coming out together.
Oh, the buzz goes around the ground. Macquarie Scorpions and the South Newcastle Lions.
Well, this is quite bizarre, Peter. I don't think I've ever seen the two teams run out side by side like this. What is it, an international test match or something?
All we need
bizarre.
now is the national anthem.
Exactly right. Very strange. I don't know if that was planned or whether they just both waltzed out together, but there you go.
Well, a nice touch. Very nice. Let's go through the Macquarie Scorpions side as they'll take to the field today. At full-back is Matt Simon. On the wings is Matt Hay and also Ryan Pywell. The 3 and 4 is Nathan Cantor and Teeson Vivali-Ellie. The 6 and 7, Scotty Briggs and captain Andrew Subner. The back rowers of Blake Gallen, Brock Harmer, Josh Shamidal, Adam Swadling, Chris Hyde, and the prop, he's very skillful, he knows his job, Isaac Briggs. The interchange for the Scorpions, Jordan Noble, Ty Alchin's a late scratching, Matt Jeffrey will go to 15 alongside Adam Grew and Randall Briggs. And of course, the coach of the year is Adam Bettridge. For the Lions, it looks this way. It's Sam Cook at full-back. On the wings is McIntyre and also Flanagan. The 3 and 4 is Christie and Schneider. 6 and 7 is Hedder and Johnson. Captain Todd Hurrell. And coach, of course, in 13, Lawrence, Roos, Simpson, Higgins and Taylor. The prop, Higgins for Pulei, Edwards and Tupu. And of course, as I said, their coach and captain is Todd Hurrell. So the winner of this match goes straight through to Hunter Stadium on grand final day. Who will be the first team into the grand final? We're underway in the major semi-final. Sit back, grab a cup of tea and be entertained by both of these sides who finished first and second on the competition ladder. And South Newcastle Lions have the first use of the football here as they come outside their own 20-metre line. And Gallen, he's met there in the tackle over the top. So they'll get up and they'll play the ball. Dummy half now, it's Higgins. That's the 30-metre line they're about to rock. And Scotty Briggs along there with Swadling. They absolutely built Ben Roos into the ground. So they come back outside the 20. This is the first set of 6 here in the major semi-final. Thanks for watching the coverage of the Newcastle Rugby League all year. The Tooheys Cup, the toughest country rugby league competition going around. Heta outside the 40. Goes straight down to Matt Simon. An electric runner from the back.
Look at this chase from Souths. Simon is an electric runner, but they were up keenly there. They were very fast getting up towards him. So that's a good sign for the enthusiasm of South. Although, to be fair, if you weren't enthusiastic today, you'd probably have to retire. But just looking around the ground, it is absolute bedlam down here. We've got people wandering all over the place. There's a really big crowd both in the grandstand and in front of it, and also up on the hill. So if Macquarie do anything of note here in the first few minutes, there's going to be plenty of racket made.
So Gallen plays it back to Hyde. They're going to kick off the left boot of captain in Subner. Cook going back. He runs around and he runs straight into Randall Briggs, who brings him into the ground here just on his own 10-metre line.
That's what you can expect from Andrew Sumner all season. He does it so well. I think he's probably the best general play kicker in the competition. He finds the grass more than anybody and just puts it into the corner, gives them the ball where he wants them to have it. He's a real asset for Macquarie in that way.
That was savage. Isaac Briggs pulled out of it. So they're going to come across the back line. That's on the ground. Scooped up now by Tim Christie. Team Christie, speed and agility is incredible. Just like that shot from Pywell over the top. They'll need a good kick here. Back to Header. The player's player of the year. Drills it straight to Simon. Picks it up off his own 10. Runs it back across the 20. And he's going to be collected there just short of the 30-metre line. Will come to Tom Taylor in a moment as they go for a skit from dummy half, and that's Matt Hay. Matt Hay, of course, he possesses all the skills that make a quality winger. Look out for him today as they are about to hit up the halfway line. James Taylor in there, the big prop from the Lions. An outstanding match last week for the Lions. And Isaac Briggs. He's very skillful. He knows his job and what's required here today. Loves getting his hands dirty early on. Back then out of Swaddling. He's got a good offload in him, and he plays plenty of big minutes. Adam Swaddling, 16 games this year. He's still after his first try, though.
Offside to the left.
The kick goes high to the air. There's the ball bouncing. We might go touchline here.
Play on.
It's
6 to go.
The play on, so we'll go to the touchline after this as we see Pywell. So opportunity now for the Scorpions. They're about to rumble inside the Lions' den. They're 20 metres out, and that's Shamidal. Very hard-hitting second rower. He's big, he's strong, and always willing for work. First penalty, too long as we go touchline to Tommy Taylor.
Yeah, mate, Toddy Harrell laying in too long there. I don't know if you can hear it up here, Pete, but these teams are barking at each other. They are just screaming. A lot of energy here. We've got an extra gear for our semi-final football.
So Briggs, back to Sumner. There's a chance out wide. Simon, here's a try. Matt Hay, that's his 6th try. In the 5th minute of the major semi-final, it's 4-0.
Well, Adam Bettrich won the Coach of the Year award through the week, and that's the sign of a well-coached team, a play like that. It's straight off the training ground and put together to a T. Immaculate stuff there. They worked it out the back to Simon, and as we see on the replay here, the ball came across. There was first the hit up from Swaddling, and they were set for it. They looked right, but they were only ever going left. It was the great long pass across from Hyde. He cut out a few defenders, and then Sumner does his job, Simon drawing the man, and fizzes the pass onto the chest of Ryan Pywell, who was only ever going to score from there. That's a lovely set piece and a lovely start for Macquarie.
Oh, the crowd, Tommy, they didn't have to wait long for the first try.
No, all the boys down in that corner loved it. I'll tell you what, there was State of Origin touch footy on yesterday on Fox. And I think the coaches, if they're here watching today, they'll be ringing Matt Simon up because that pass was a bullet. Something that you see in touch footy a lot.
So there's the kick.
How was the racket, Peter, when the try went over? Dear, oh dear.
Oh, mate. You've been here all day, the fans.
They've got a sense of it this year. There's a real sense in the ground that things are happening at Macquarie in 2016.
You backing him in, Pete?
Oh, mate, there's a swirling breeze around.
Not as bad as yesterday.
No. Let's see what he can do. He's an exceptional kicker. I wouldn't want to rule him out. But the touch judges, they put their flags down.
Both of them do the same call at that.
Mate, we just said it's swirling around. Is it favouring one side over the other, mate?
It seems to be really going cross-field, you know. It seems to be, as you say, swirling and maybe, if anything, going cross-field rather than down one end or the other. So I think at this stage it's really more of an inconvenience for both sides than an advantage for one over the other.
So we're back here. Sunday afternoon finals football. As Chris Hyde turns it away. And that's Swaddling. On his 10-metre line. Taylor got off him. Now this is Ryan Pywell. 8 tries this season. His speed and agility, it's incredible for the Scorpions. The sun is out and we're at Scorp Stadium. Maybe we could call it Sun Scorp Stadium here today. That's the 30-metre line.
Slow clap.
Thank you, Morgan. Swaddling. I'll leave the jokes to you, mate. Chris Hyde in a dummy half, looking around. He's busy early on. Kicks it downfield.
He got absolutely hammered after he kicked it. There's a bit of a blow-up amongst the Macquarie supporters. I think it was fair game, though. It was flush as he was kicking it. Wasn't late or anything like that. But he's still a bit sick and sorry, just making his way back into the line. It's a very tough physical affair so far.
It's Brendan Simpson. Plenty of footy in Simpson. 2 tries this season. 17 games on the back of him. James Taylor, playing his 7th game in first grade today. Loves rolling it forward. That's the 40. Higgins reads the defence well. Now to header.
Here's Cook.
Chasing. Well, he's come off the post and Simon comes away with it there. Luckily, he's met there by Schneider. He's a very big, strong kid. But the goalpost, well, they're still rattling.
Oh, great carry there from Ryan Pywell off his own line, but that was tricky play from Willie Hatter. And that's what we've seen from him all year. He loves those trick shots, you know. The crossfield kick, the little chip and chase. On that occasion, it was the snapping sort of banana-style kick back on the inside. Sam Cook knew it was on. It was one off the playbook. And that was only a matter of inches. He could have scooped that up and gone over. They're going to have to watch that, Macquarie, because he'll keep trying things, Willie Hatter.
Tom, there's a lot of talk out there between these sides, as expected.
Yeah, mate. Still screaming at each other. They're not dying off yet.
So Sam Cook here. Look at this. Tremendous defence from the Scorps. From Subner and also Scotty Briggs. Now to McIntyre. He's very fleet-footed. Fast, exciting. 8 games for the Red and Whites this year. He's only crossed the line once. So Higgins. That's the halfway line. Major semi-final. Liam offloads it back to Brendan Simpson. So 45 metres out. Last tackle here in the major semi-final. What are they going to do? Header. Goes for a chip and chase, but they've put the human shield in. Now Simon's lost the ball. It's towed ahead, and South should get 6 more tackle.
There's the trick shot again from Willie Hatter. He's tried 2 in 2. Here's Taylor.
He charges towards the line. 2 metres out. Opportunity now for the Lions. Johnson, away to Christie. He finds McIntyre. McIntyre will reach out and score. No, he won't. The touch judge, Tom, has said he's got in a touch.
I think he's got it right too. His left foot. Oh, that was so close.
We'll have a replay of this.
Well, I thought...
Well, great work by the Scorps.
It
Tell
was
me
indeed.
what you see on the replay, boys.
I thought Tim Christie might have thrown that a little bit early there because he gave McIntyre a hell of a lot of work to do, and yet he did it very well, as we see here on the replay. Christie gives it early there. He could have drawn Favielli. In the end, Favielli just wrestles him, and I think you've got to say that McIntyre's knee and a bit of his leg were on the line, so Macquarie get away with it.
Let's go touchline, Tom Taylor.
What'd you see? Did you get it right?
Yeah, I think you've got to say he was right there. Just the knee on the ground, just as he was putting the ball down. But it was a good show of strength there from McIntyre one-on-one, because it was harder for him than it needed to be.
Oh, it was a great reach out. If he had scored that try, it would have been one of the tries of the season.
This is tremendous atmosphere here today, Peter. I must say that the noise when anything happens is just tremendous. It's a small grandstand here. There's a lot of people around the ground. And, if this is a close game in the last quarter, it's going to be absolutely tremendous. You see a push in the scrum.
Oh, what a shot. The Lions ahead of play. Make no doubt about that. And that was the captain and the coach, Toddy Hurrell. There's Hurrell again in there. He wants to go to the grand final and get the week off next week. Now to Simon. Offloading. That's the 20. And that's Cantor. 16 games for Cantor, 11 tries this season. Brilliant speed and footwork. as Hyde goes to half way.
I think he's still a little bit sore from that knock he took earlier, Peter. He's down on his haunches again there. That's a serious worry for Macquarie if he was to go down. He's trying to carry on, so we'll just see what happens over the next few minutes.
So Subner puts boot to the ball. And Jared Flanagan's out there. He's the competition's leading try scorer. Jared, 15 tries in 2016. A lethal weapon. That's Swadling and Gallen. In defence, Heta.
14, Jordan Noble just coming onto the field here. And Chris Hyde has had to come off. So if that's the end of his day, that is a big problem as there's a knock on there. Macquarie are going to get this back. But yeah. Chris Hyde's come from the field and he's looking very sore. He's hunched over on the bench down there and in a bit of trouble. Jordan Noble's a good replacement in a dummy half, but geez, Chris Hyde, he's carved a few sides up this year. That would be a big loss for them.
Let's go downstairs. Here's Tommy Taylor.
By the looks of things, Chris Hyde might be suffering either a rib cartilage or a pec injury. Not looking good. They're going to give him a couple of tests, maybe a bit of stretching and see how he goes. But signs aren't looking good at the moment. He's got the jersey off. But Jordan Noble, I must say, is a very capable replacement.
So 12 minutes gone. Aylett, our referee today. Tommy Aylett. Officiating more than 200 first grade games. As we see now, Matt Hay inside the 40. Massive crowd here on major semi-final day. That's Gallen in blockbuster form. Blake Gallen. That's on the ground. Who wants to dive on it?
Slow.
Bruce has to. Well,
Josh Schmiedel there, he just took a little bit too long to pick that ball up. I think he might have been thinking more about what he could do with it as there's a hand across the face. I think that'll be a penalty. Not a particularly dangerous one, but just a lazy sort of arm out there from Schmiedel, who hasn't had a great 60 seconds. But yes, that all came about, of course, because Noble jumped out of dummy half and just mistimed the pass. And it's nothing against Jordan Noble to say that if your first choice hooker comes off, the bloke that's been training with the side most of the week, it is going to upset the flow, which we saw deployed so effectively for the first try.
They've lost the football there. Right in front of Tom Aylett. So a few nerves here and a little bit of niggle.
There's a bit more than nerves, hello.
Yeah, Brendan Simpson's in there.
Yeah, nothing too much at this stage, but sets the scene, only 15 minutes in. You often see this, you know, there's been a very physical start of the game. They've really been belting the hell out of each other and not many mistakes early on. And then after about 10 or 15 minutes of that, I mean, the fatigue has to come early and you can expect that a few balls might go down.
Bit of news on the touchline, Tom.
Yeah, mate, Chris Hyde's just gone up the tunnel, mate. It is the left shoulder. He seems to have a little bit of movement. I'm confident that he could be back, but hey, only time will tell.
So we'll keep an eye out for that. Chris Hyde off the field from the 14th minute as Scott Briggs goes away, finds Thiessen Varvaeli, the leading point scorer for the Scorpions. 5 tries, 50 goals. Now to Randall Briggs off the bench. Gallen, he wants it. Rampages straight into Heta. Glorious afternoon for football. Subner. They're about to hit their own 40-metre line. Briggs again. Gets up. This time that was Isaac Briggs. Of course, we've got the Briggs brothers out here today. 4 Briggs brothers, Scott, Isaac and Randall. As we see now for Varvaeli. He's going to put in the kick. It might have just went out on the full.
Yep.
Right in front of Tom Taylor down on the touchline.
Yeah, mate, crash, bang, straight on the line, out on the full. We're going to play the ball to South. Good field position. They're already in the attacking zone, so a couple of tackles, they'll be in prime position.
A little bit impetuous there going down the short side. I don't think that was in the plan. I don't think Adam Betridge should be too pleased with that early in the game. I think his ideas, one of the things he's done for them this year is take a lot of the mistakes out of their game and take a lot of the rough edges off them. I think he would be hoping that they just keep it pretty structured and just get to their sets and kick.
So Liam Higgins looking around. Brendan Simpson runs onto it. So they're 21 metres out from the Scorpions' goal line. Heta, the 5/8, wrapped up there by 3. They don't want to put him onto the ground. That's just testament to his strength and power there, William Heta. Of course, coming up from the Riverina. Now to Hurrell, the ball was jolted out of his possession. Goes back.
6 more here.
Johnson. Organisational skills is brilliant. Of course, Johnson, 7 games for South, came down from the Entrust Queensland Cup to play in the Newcastle Rugby League as Heta. He's looking for McIntyre. McIntyre's got it. Can he get it down? No, he's bundled in a touch.
Well, he would have had to be Charles Atlas to get the ball down from there. He had a lot of work to do that time. A very good take, though, it must be said, and the kick was fairly accurate. But Macquarie got across well. You can see, though, what West are trying to do. Souths are trying to do. They rely a lot on trick plays, the little kicks, all that sort of thing, whereas Macquarie are more likely to put on a set play out the back. You can see here they got across pretty well. There wasn't any panic there. And Ryan Pyewill, who I think I credited with the first try and with a very good run earlier. Of course, Ryan Pywell's in the 5 and Matt Hayes in the 2. My apologies. Pyewill put him into touch very well.
As Gallen rocks it forward to the 30-metre line. We'll go down to Tom Taylor. Tom, a huge contingent of Souths fans have come across the lake.
Yeah, mate, as I turn my back to the game, I can just see a sea of red. Sea of red would be right below the camera. So, yeah, every decision that's made by referee Aylett, we hear at least 50% of the crowd blow up and 50% of the crowd cheer.
So Simon, look at him go. Little nuggeting fella. 6 tries this year. Got up and played the ball quickly. Now there's the kick going downfield. It's come off the leg, so everything's legitimate. And Scotty Briggs is there trying to put Sam Cook onto his back. Does that 20 metres away. So the major semi-final in all action. McIntyre, he comes down to Simon. He beats Simon. What a run by the Lions.
Well, that's cause for concern, isn't it? Sam Cook making a half break off a missed tackle, and then McIntyre doing the same, and there might be a third here with Flanagan, who wore that a little bit high, then gets the smackdown, and there's going to be drama here, you'd reckon.
Yeah, time off here. Aylett doesn't like this. Let's go touchline to Tommy Taylor. What's happening here, Tom?
Yeah, mate, I got a good glimpse of that one. Matty Simon there put the Souths player to ground. Now, the tackle's not complete. He is entitled to jump on the player, but what he's done is I think he's jumped and made contact with the head. So not good, especially when the player is prone.
You see the replay here. McIntyre went strolling up the field and went past a couple. That's very concerning for Macquarie. One-on-one tackles with wingers and fullbacks in the middle of the park. And they spotted the chance there. It was good work by Higgins. Flanagan went through. He copped it high from Simon, who then thought he'd just go whack over the top. I never see why anyone wants to do that. Hurt their fellow player.
That's Luke Higgins. 19th minute of the match. James Taylor. His 7th first grade game today. They go from dummy half and they've seen a huge gap. No try yet. Tom Taylor.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, no, I think...
Is he giving it, Tommy?
This is going to be a try here, Pete.
He'll give it now. Well, he was questioning his own whistle blowing. He looked at his touch judge first. He said time off, so he must have had some sort of doubt in his mind, did he?
Yeah, he did. He sees the ball come out. I think he was just checking to see whether the touch judge or not thought it was a knock on. But, hey, all 3 of them seem to be happy with it, so why not the referee as well?
Well, as we see here on the replay, James Taylor took it up. It was a good, strong carry. And the ball really just seemed to come out. I mean, they're going to say that it was a strip, and I guess in that situation, it's incumbent on the Macquarie players to keep watching the ball. A few of them turned around to get back into position, and in that time, Luke Higgins was able to just pick it up, Liam Higgins, pardon me, was able to just pick it up and stroll over. So a bit of fortune there for South, but you've got to say, Macquarie, I mean, you've got to play to the whistle and you've got to watch the ball, and if you don't do that, you do risk something like that happening. So in the space of that last 2 minutes, we've seen a couple of really ordinary missed tackles up the centre, and then that little moment where they weren't quite on the ball, that's not a good sign.
I think Willie Head is going to have no trouble in slotting this one over. Bit of an easy kick for Willie. Despite the circumstances and the commentator's curse, I'm pretty confident about this one. I've also got my fingers crossed.
He's made it look simple. Souths are in the front, 6 points to 4, back down to the touchline. Here's Tom Taylor.
Yeah, mate, Macquarie have just had their third interchange now. Isaac Briggs has come off. Not quite sure who's come on the field, but Isaac Briggs, he's looking a bit buggered. I think he's going to be glad to have a drink of water and a sit down.
Well, it was a bit of a tired effort, that tackle. He was the one that missed the second one there on McIntyre when he went through. It's been a very hard game. I mentioned a minute ago that they've been up in each other's faces and hitting very hard. It's been quite a fast game as well. So in the last 5 minutes or so, we've seen a few little mistakes that, you know, can be attributed to fatigue. As there's another big carry from South, and the crowd are starting to get behind them here.
Update on Chris Hyde, Pete. He's back on the bench, 50-50 coming back. I think they're going to use him if the game gets really close. So we'll see how Jordan Noble goes out there in the dummy half position.
Yeah, Chris Hyde, really crafty hooker. Really keeps defenders guessing. They'll miss him whilst he's on the bench, that's for sure. But our thoughts are with him, and hopefully he'll be injected back into this match shortly as we see a penalty going to the Lions here on halfway.
Well, a little bit of a momentum change here. I mean, Macquarie started very brightly. They put on that early try. It was all going to plan in the first few minutes, but South, we've seen this from South a lot this season. They tend to have really, really good 10 or 15 minute patches in a game. You know, they can be fairly quiet and let things roll along, and then they just burst to life. And this could be one of those moments here on the back of that try.
So Tim Christie is about to take the tap and send it across to Ben Roos. Nicknamed the Human Shield. Built with metal, Roos. Great ball into a gap. Tupou wrapped up by Briggs. Another penalty.
Chance of a 10 here. No, he hasn't given it. Ben Roos there went rolling through, and I thought he might just try and take on Matt Simon for size there. In the end, he tried to go around him. But so, again, big missed tackles in the middle there. Macquarie, you've got to tighten this up.
So that's Hurrell playing it back to Higgins. Sending it back to Tupou. Gallen. He's in there.
Set up deep to the right here. I think this right edge is going to get its first look.
Higgins, back to header. There's an overlap. Cook kicking, but it's gone straight into a scorp. They'll get it back. Was it played at?
We'll have 6 again, I think. No,
He's
we won't have 6
up.
again. What we're going to have is a penalty to Macquarie now. After the kick, I think Sam Cook has held back the Macquarie player. I think that's the only thing that can happen. Yes, we've got a signal for a holdback.
Well, the kick there was just not the play. I mean, they put the set play on. They had them lined up. They had the overlap. It's a bit of a temptation in modern football for players to just stick it on the boot. I think through the hands would have got them over there.
So South leading 6 points to 4. 17 minutes remaining in the first half. This is Adam Grew. He's played all but one match for the Scorpions. Referee Aylan here has just said, you've just lost it cold as you're getting up to play the ball.
Well, mistakes from Macquarie. The last 5 minutes, they've been absolutely charitable. They're turning the ball over every time they have it. It really all started with that kick out on the full from Favielli down the short side. Since then, they've just gone a bit silly.
Our finals football. It can affect individuals in different ways. Some talk about pressure. A lot of players, you know, they don't get enough sleep the night before. They can't get to sleep because they know what's on the line the day after. That's Tim Christie. He's lost it. He's just put it down. Well, there you go. Uncharacteristic mistakes in both of these squads.
Well, there's just been a bit of a lull in the game all of a sudden, hasn't there? Almost sort of nervy stuff from both sides. They're both making mistakes that they haven't really been making earlier in the season. So Liam Higgins is trying to claim that it was knocked out. I don't know that it was. One of these sides just needs to steady, get the last tackle and bang it into touch a couple of times. Just settle things down for themselves here. As we've got some drama out the back here, I think it's... I'm not sure who it is.
One of the Briggs brothers?
Scott Briggs. Randall Briggs. Might be having trouble with...
Yeah, just getting some extra strapping on his right knee. So by knee, I mean he's got strapping on his knee. He's getting it on his hand.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's that knee.
Very high for a knee.
Upper left knee.
And I've got to say, a lot of the Briggs family and families are here today, scattered around the ground. I had the opportunity to meet the Briggs' mother, lovely woman, as we see Pywell coming in.
Well, you occasionally in a game of rugby league see a push in the scrum, usually in the desperate last minutes of a team being behind on the scoreboard. But we've seen 2 in a row here from South. There's been 2 scrums that Macquarie have fed, and both times they've pushed. And I've got to say it's not a bad tactic, because it's a real surprise tactic. And even if you do it a few times, I mean, Macquarie wouldn't have trained for a push in the scrum. People don't train scrums anymore, I wouldn't assume. So that could be a real tactic for South. You could see them win one against the feed today.
So the Scorpions, they haven't been down this end of the field for a while, have they? As Subner, he goes through the gap. Cook, still going, Subner. And the ball's gone into touch and he hits the fence on his way through.
Well, we saw a lot of this yesterday from Jade Porter, the half, out on the edges, getting it away, getting the step away and going away from the defenders. As we'll have a look on the replay in a moment. There didn't look to be a great deal on here. As we see it here, it went from Noble, and then really it was just a good step. And he left, I think, number 4 there, Lewis Schneider, left him for dead there. Andrew Sumner went straight past him, but the South defenders recovered well, and the support didn't quite loom up in the right position. So the ball goes into touch and South escape.
An outstanding year, Andrew Sumner, an outstanding halfback. His leadership is absolutely brilliant. And he's one of those guys that, you know, he'll back himself, and he did that right there. Look for more plays like that here in the major semi-final here today. Gale in the tackle. So they scoot from dummy half. That's Rex Johnson. In his 8th game since coming down from the Queensland Cup, inside the 40. But straight to Matt Simon here. He's got meterage in front of him, but captain coach Hurrell is in there, right on their own 30-metre line. Now to Hay, the winger, taking a bit of pressure off his forwards there. Now to Varvielli, leading point scorer for the Scorpions. 5 tries under his belt as well for Thiessen. So Jordan Noble. Here's another uncharacteristic mistake by Scotty Briggs.
Well, there's a bit of complaint there from Blake Gallen and a few others about South players, I think, being in the way in the ruck. But the fact remains Macquarie have turned it over again here, and they're giving South every opportunity. I think the way Macquarie have hit this dreadful patch in the game, South really need to make it count. I mean, they need to put some more points on them, because the way Macquarie have been going this year, you wouldn't think it'd last.
So Johnson sending it away to Heta. He finds Sam Cook. It was touched. Heta scoops up the drags, and Hay knocks him sideways, close into touch. They come now through Flanagan. He's up to the 40-metre line. 14 minutes to go in the first half here. Winner straight through to the grand final in a fortnight, to be played at Hunter Stadium. The loser will take on Western Suburbs at the Graveyard next Sunday. Let's go to their sideline. Here's Tommy Taylor.
Yeah, mate, South Lions have just made their second interchange. Farpoulier is on, and he's just about to take this hit up. You can't miss him. He's about 7 foot tall. He just interchanged Brendan Simpson.
Yeah, this is his 14th match for the Lions this year. Back to Johnson. McIntyre coming through. But Simon, as cool as a cucumber, trying to get away from Johnson. He beats Johnson. He beats Heta. But he can't get away there from Jared Flanagan.
Well, I mentioned right at the start of the game that the South's defenders off the kick were very eager and very keen and in a good line. They weren't so there. I think there might be a few players already getting a bit tired. I mean, you've got to remember that most of this season has been played in the dead of winter, and this is quite a warm day out in the sun, so the players probably aren't acclimatised to playing in these conditions where it's maybe 5 or 6 or 7 degrees hotter than it has been through the rest of the season. And it's a faster game as well. It's going to bring blokes like Matt Simon really into it in the last stages.
So the Newcastle Rugby League Player of the Year, Gallen, plays it back. Here's a chance. Here's a gap. Here they go. Randall Briggs. He's got Gallen. Back to Gallen. He steps. He weaves. Oh, he's a winger. He's next to the post. The representative Player of the Year and the Newcastle Player of the Year. Oh, he's gone from lock forward to playing halfback.
The try machine, Blake Gallen. There you go. He's over for his 8th of the season, and that was just that's what you. I mean, that's what you want from your club men, isn't it? From your lock forward, backing up on the inside. He's been doing a shift in the front, like basically as a front rower, carting the ball up and making tackles. And on a hot day, he's still got the energy, as we see on the replay, to be there in the line. It was a great ball there from Sumner, who's really causing a lot of trouble out on that left-hand side. Briggs went barging through the gap and had the wherewithal to draw the fullback and put Gallen over for a stroll. And Macquarie, well, they've had a dreadful 10 minutes in this game. All they've done is spill the ball and miss tackles, and yet they've come up with the points, and South haven't got any further.
Oh, Blake Gallen, that's his 9th try in 2016. For a big man, his skills are unbelievable. So 11 minutes out from half-time. The Scorps are back in front by 2. And don't the home fans love that? So Scotty Briggs. An easier one. 10 to the left of the post. This to give them a 4-point buffer. He's done it. It's 10-6 with 10 minutes to go. Touchline, Tom Taylor.
Yeah, mate, after that try, every single Macquarie player near that bench and supporter went to their feet and they were jumping up and down like going ballistic. Good vibe now for the Macquarie fans. Let's hope South Lions can get back in it.
So reach out to us on Twitter at Bar TV Sports. Let us know what you think of this major semi-final. What a shot! Finals defence. Finals football. Ben Roos, the human shield.
Now that 15 that just made
He's
that
hurt
run,
himself in that one.
There's
Matt
a bit of trouble
Jeffrey.
there. It's Matt Jeffrey who's in the 15. As we see, there's an injury here for South. There was an injury in the warm-up for Macquarie. Ty Alchin went down in huge trouble during the warm-up. This is Ben Roos, who's got a problem now in 11.
Well,
and he's needing the trainer's assistance.
Hey, Tom, I just noticed that Tommy Aylers, he sent the one of the trainers off the field.
Oh, well, that must have been for giving him a gobful, but Ben Roos is in Disneyland right now. He just grass-cutted the Macquarie player there, but unfortunately, I think his head may have got in the way of a knee. So, I can understand why he's a bit dizzy after that one. Wow, what a hit.
So, Vavielli gets us back underway. That's Matt Jeffrey. A late inclusion for Ty Alchin. Now to Shamidal. Big and strong. Hard-hitting second rower. That's the 40-metre line. Gallen. Here's the kick. Subner. Over the head of Flanagan.
Look out.
Look out,
Oh!
Flanagan. Subner was coming through.
Come back.
I guess in situations like that, especially in a major semi-final, you've just got to take it. Put your body on the line.
It's very easy for us mugs up in the grandstand, Pete, but the ball was swirling around there, and I think there was a miscommunication between winger and fullback there. It ended up landing in between them, as we're going to see a replay of that tackle from Ben Roos, which, oh dear, we see on that, I think there was a bit of a forearm there from Matt Jeffrey right into the face of Ben Roos.
Well, as a coach, I'd let that one slide.
Let's have a look on the replay, Peter. Just have a look at this. Come here, Tom. There they go, and then bang, over the top. See that?
No, I can't, mate. I'm on the sideline.
Quite right.
Mate, if you got the opportunity, put your monitor on. I know the sun's blazing down there.
I thought you had a screen down there.
Yeah,
it's
just.
Mate.
Oh, you haven't got one? Oh, sorry, mate.
Oh, there you go. Fair enough.
Thought you had one.
I think there was a forearm to the face from Matt Jeffrey. And then when the ball went bouncing there, Andrew Sumner, if he'd have just been able to pluck that, it would have been very, very fortunate. And cruel luck for South. They get away with it in the end. Entertaining game, this, Pete.
Well, it's a major semi-final. There's header. Ryan Powell is underneath it. Trying to get away from Johnson. But Tupou wraps him up like a Christmas present on his own 30-metre line. Now to Harmer. Really tough. Great defender with technique and style is Brock Harmer. Now to Matty Hay. He possesses all the skills that make a quality winger. Gets away from Hurrell. Back to Adam Grew. That's the 40-metre line. 6 minutes to go in the first half here. Gallen. Here's a gap. They've gone to the gap. That's Scotty Briggs. He's got support. Back to Shamidal. Shamidal gets his try. Shamidal, that's his first try in the major semi-final for 2016.
Scotty Briggs, he's still too good for him. He's just too good for them. That was brilliant play. There wasn't a great deal on there again, but just a bit of a shuffle, a bit of a turn of the hips there, and a bit of a dummy, as we see on the replay. It was a good carry there from Adam Grew that got them going forward. And you'll see Briggs getting the ball here. They had them set out to the right. They promoted it through Gallen, and then through he went. And a bit of a turn of pace there that I didn't think Scott Briggs had. And then drew the fullback. It was never in doubt from there. Josh Schmiedel backing up, getting across the line. Macquarie, after spinning their wheels for 15 minutes, have gone full throttle in the last 5. And all of a sudden, they're 14-6 in front with a kick to come.
So what a moment that was for Schmiedel. And now, with 4 minutes remaining, it's 14 points to 6. The buffer, it's drifting. Let's go down the touchline. This man's not drifting. Tom Taylor.
No way. I'm sticking around for the rest of this game, definitely. Blake Gallen's just showed us that he can score a try, but set him up too. He put Scotty Briggs in a big hole. Bittersweet news, though, for that try for all Macquarie fans. Randall Briggs has just gone up the tunnel with an injury of some sort.
Randall Briggs has. Oh,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And the rest of the bench aren't looking very healthy, to be honest, for the Scorpions.
Well, that's a real opportunity for Souths, isn't it, for later in the game? I mean, we've said it a few times, it's a warm day. If Macquarie have got Chris Hyde out of action and they've got Randall Briggs out of action, geez, playing with 15 with still 45 minutes left in the match, that's a very tall order, even with a 10-point lead as the kick goes over.
I think he'll be back. I think Chris Hyde will be back. He's up and walking around. He's buzzing to get back on. He's getting a bit cold, I think he's saying.
Great to have topbetter.com.au as our major sponsor this year. Benedict Waste Recycling and Cornelius Crumps and Supergas for the final series of 2016. Great to have everybody on board. That's Matt Jeffrey. Takes a shot of Hurrell. Back to Gallen. I've said it nearly every match we've called this year about Blake Gallen. You know, you talk about half-backs and 5'8" laying the platform. But Gallen this year, his highlights have been phenomenal. You know, not just making meterage, but he's always there lurking when tries are not far away. Good run by Cantor. Higgins drops off. Now to Subner. Ball's on the ground. And Aylett here will call it up right on the halfway line. So not too many penalties, Tom Taylor, off the whistle of Aylett in this first half.
No, it's been good. Haven't had to focus on him very much. The game's just been let flow quite nicely here. And I think the fans agree.
It's always a good sign for the referee, isn't it? If you don't notice him, well, you've got to say he's doing a good job.
Well, that and you don't notice him because he stands about 4 foot tall.
Well, there's also that.
He had to stand on the comms gearbox at an interview with me one time.
So inside the final 3 minutes here. The Lions. They'd love to stiff one out here as Johnson rolls it over the 40. Gallen and Noble in there. Back to Liam Higgins.
Oh,
don't let him run.
There. I think they were a bit unlucky there, South. That referee, you see, we've called him into the game. Oh, penalty. There he goes. Hey-oh, there you go. There you go.
Well, we said he hadn't blown a penalty for 20 minutes. He's blown 2 in 5 minutes. Tommy.
Yeah, I think that was overdue. They've given it for the hand in the ruck, but I think they were off. I think the markers never got back there.
You can only find reasons to play on for so long.
Big chance here for South. This would be a sickener with 1:30 to go.
1:30 to go. Header. He goes short. Looking for runners. Finds Higgins. Taken down there by Adam Grew. So 1:10 to go. Back to Hetter. Hetter goes himself, trying to create a little bit of magic. The magician of the side. Back to Schneider. He's a strong, big fella. Didn't want to go to ground there. Probably one of the biggest, along with Metcalf, in our competition. Back to Taylor. Spinning away from Scotty Briggs. And Gallen wraps him up. So 40 seconds left on the clock. Where's Johnson? Doesn't go to him. It goes to Cook. They switch it back to Header. Look for the kick. There's the kick. Where's their winger? Flanagan. And the ball goes into touch.
Well, they had a chance there. In the last 90 seconds of the half, they had a real chance. And on the last tackle, nobody knew who the ball was supposed to go to. It ended up with Sam Cook. He knew he wasn't supposed to have it. He threw it to Header, who was really in no position to be doing really much of anything at all. He was corralled in the middle of the field. And the kick in the end was a bit rushed and out on the full. And, well, it's just not quite coming together for them in attack at the moment. The one try that they have scored was the one that came spewing forth out of the tackle.
Time off. Here's we go. Touchline. Tom Taylor.
Yeah, just on that last play, Rex Johnson was calling for it on the blind side. And when Higgins give it to Sam Cook, you hear Rex Johnson, how can you miss me? I'm in a white and red shirt.
Oh, we've got a few characters in the Newcastle Rugby League and we love it. Where would we be without characters of our great game? I can't see Tommy Aylett because that is why, for Pooley, he's about 7 foot. He is Big Bird. There's Tommy. He's popped his head out and he gets South back the 10 metres as required. So 2 seconds to go here in the first half as Shamidal takes the last hit up of the first 40. So we go to Oranges, ladies and gentlemen, here in the major semi-final with the Macquarie Scorpions leading by 10 points over South Newcastle. It's 16 points to 6.
Well, Macquarie, interesting half. I mean, they came out very hard. They looked the goods. Then they fell into a hole for about 20 minutes. They seemed to be completely devoid of confidence. That everything that they've had all year really deserted them. But towards the end of the half, class really told there. A couple of big plays from their halves, putting on points. And in the end, you'd have to say they deserve to be 16-6 in front. South have had a few goes at them, but for that bit of fortune they had with the try on the left-hand side, they haven't really looked like cracking them. They need Willie Header to really find something in this second half.
So 40 minutes down, 40 minutes away from one side going through to the 2016 Newcastle Tooheys Cup Rugby League Grand Final at Hunter Stadium. Well, we had the minor semi-final yesterday. It was knockout. Western Suburbs hosted Lakes. And if you just missed the highlights overnight, here they are right now. TV Sports, the winner goes through to week 3. It's do or die today. They'll work the right-hand side of the park. Sullivan will kick, and they'll score.
Simultaneous, I think that's got to be a try.
Taylor gives the first try to the Seagulls. Well, it was a wonky old kick, but a bit of luck has turned into 4 points. As Gulmere goes for a scoot from dummy half, and he's been put away by Williams, and he's in the touch.
Well, Jamie Gulmere there, I think he'd like to have that one over again.
2 metres out, Knight, back to Finn, Knight, now Keenan, here's a chance, they'll kick, they'll chase, they'll get it back and they'll score! Peter Mannion, I think you'll find, has got the first try for the Rosellas. They're back, it's 6-4 with a kick to come. Back to Porter, turning it away to Finn. Big holdbacks of it, play continues as we see Keenan giving it away. Williams steps, weaves, sees the gap, he's down inside the 20. And he's cut down there. Western Suburbs, 8 minutes out from half-time. They've got a chance. Porter, he finds Knight. Knight is still going. He's got support. Back to Ling. Oh, he offloads and they're under the post.
Surely not. He's going to give this.
Why wouldn't you give it? A tremendous try to Mark Farah.
Well, a tremendous try, sure, but geez, there are a couple of questionable passes there, and particularly the possible knock-on toward the end.
As Knight finding Lynn. Keenan, great ball. Mannion, he's inside the 40. He got it back to Williams. Williams stepping. Williams still going. He's got Richardson. Williams offloading. Switching it now is Mannion. What a run. So Keenan looking out to the wing. There's Ty. The siren's gone in the background. That's Ty. Puts in a kick downfield. They're coming through. Ailes chasing. But Dylan Harton, he sees the ball go over the touchline, 20 metres out. And that's half-time. Finds Porter. He goes himself, Porter. And now he offloads the ball. Shillings is through the gap. Shillings has got the line in front of him. Can he get it down? He's held up. As Murray, lovely pass onto the chest. Now finding Goulmere. He's got Varka. He may not need Varka. He goes himself. Picked up now by Western Suburbs. And they turn defence into attack. And now they're squatting off Lakes United like flies. And Adams is back there and rings him into the ground. Starting his working career with topbetter.com.au as we see Jade Porter. He's looking around. He's got support. Shillings is under the post. Yes. Warren Shillings, the veteran lock, has scored under the post. He was in doubt until last night, but in doubt no longer after that try under the black dot. Now to Adams. Sullivan. Goulmere. Here's a chance. Oh, it's been bubbled. Great work by the Rosellas head. Desperation here on the line for Western Suburbs as Adams kicks, but for who? Who does he kick for? I'll tell you who he's kicked for. Brad Murray. Brad Murray has scored a try off the boot of Chris Adams.
Well, there you go. Clever player out of dummy half. They had absolutely, they didn't look like breaking them there. That was tremendous defence from West on their own line, and then the little sneaky kick out of dummy half.
Adams, dangerous, offloads it, they're going to score, they're under the post. Lakes United have scored under the post. James D. Sachs. Spent the majority of the year in reserve grade, back then out of Porter. Porter will go over. Porter's got the ball down, and Porter, he puts them back in front. Oh, Jade Porter. Sending it back to the right-hand side. Are they lining up? Mannion gives it back to Brown. Away to Petro. Can he offload? Back to Porter. He's in again. Oh, he loves it.
Well, Jade Porter, you can pencil him in man of the match. I know they awarded the player of the season through the week, so he won't get the 3 points, but he gets man of the match today because he's changed this game. First with that run out on the fringe where he carved them up and got it away to Shillings. Then he threw the dummy from close to the line and went over, and now he's crossed again. He's scored 2 and set up 1 in the last passages of this game. They're through. It's all over now, you'd have to think.
There's the siren. It's all over. Western Suburbs have knocked Lakes United Seagulls out of the competition for 2016. The final score, Wests 26, Lakes 18. Oh, Western Suburbs. It was an ugly win, but they'll take it any time of the week. Let's go downstairs and check out the victors here in the Newcastle Rugby League. Bit ugly, would you describe it?
Yeah, very ugly. Yeah, it wasn't one of our finest performances, but certainly our defence was really good, and you know the pressure they put on us in the back end of the half from mistakes of ours. You know, our goal line defence was really good.
Yeah, fantastic. You're off now to the graveyard. Doesn't matter who you play, I guess, after tomorrow's. You've got to win it to make it through to the grand final.
Where's it at?
At the graveyard, up at Curry, I believe.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, mate, I don't. Yeah, whoever we play. You know, last time we played Macquarie, we got an absolute hiding, you know, and we played South last week, so it doesn't really matter who we play. We've got to play someone else.
As far as injuries go, have you had a chance to see who's who?
First glance, we've been battered around again. Just from last week, you know, we lost a couple during the week, and I dare say, just looking around the room, we're probably going to lose another couple and some pretty key ones, I'd say.
All right, we'll see you up there.
Thanks.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It was, we go in with a plan, and you know, just the way the game plays out sometimes, it always doesn't work out exactly how you trained all week. But, you know, like you said, we got there in the end, so we live to see another day.
Mate, when did you find out that Mark Defua wasn't playing today?
Only yesterday, I found out. Yeah, so it was pretty, you know, we found out, but then we had to move on pretty quick, obviously. Everyone's got a job to do. We all, you know, we train together as a club for this reason. So, you know, the boys in reserve grade have been going really well. So we knew they'd step up and do a job.
Mate, we thought Jade Porter had an outstanding game out there today. He was really the leech pin, wasn't he? You know, and he did the Porter dance at the end.
Yeah, mate, he was on fire today, the big fella. As he keeps telling us, the freak's back.
The freak is back.
The freak is back, mate. So, yeah, no, it's good. It was good to see him playing with some confidence and leading the boys around. It's what we need him to do.
Jake, we've spoken to the coach and a few players, mate. They've described it as a scrappy win, but you got away with victory.
Yeah, mate, it's always good to get a victory, but there's obviously plenty we can take away from that. Yeah, I'd hate to see what our completion rate is. I think we're probably one of the worst teams after points. We seem to score a try, and we never complete a set of 6, and they just counteract that and get a try that very next set. So, yeah, good to get a win, mate, but obviously there's plenty we can work on, yeah.
But I guess it's good to have that depth in the club where a lot of other clubs don't have that depth. And, you know, you lose one, another one comes in, and off you go again.
Yeah, definitely, mate. We got that luxury. Probably better than any other club. We had, I think, 3 or 4 of the boys that come up, and we've got 3 boys that played today. They've got to go and play Reggie's tomorrow. So, yeah, we've definitely got an advantage there, and that really helps, yeah.
I know Mark Defua gives David Dryden a bit of curry, but he was all right off the bench.
Yeah, mate, Drydo's always, you always know what you're going to get with Drydo. He's straight up and down, so he's always going to go forward for you. So whether he's playing Reggie's or with us, mate, he always goes forward, so yeah.
Do you have a preference over tomorrow's team, mate?
No, mate. Like I said, I think we just need to concentrate on ourselves. I think it really matters who we play. We just need to worry about our own backyard, fix up them simple errors coming out of our own end, and I think we should be right. Yeah.
We understand that you're from the Group 10. What's the difference between the Group 10 and the new? So I hope you enjoyed the highlights from half-time. So Western Suburbs, they await today's loser. The winner progressing through to the grand final. So we're underway for the second half here. The major semi-final on Bar TV Sports. We might go down to the touchline quickly. Were you able to find any information out from the coaches, Tom?
Yeah, mate, I think Adam Bettridge really wants his players to dig in and do it for each other. Got a couple of niggles on the bench, so he's really needing his team to just work with each other and just get the job done. South, they're just a bit untidy. I think they just want to tidy things up, especially in the ruck. Couple of silly errors, maybe a bit of nervous errors. They're just trying to clean that sort of stuff up.
That's the light for South, isn't it? I mean, if they can just stay close enough in the first bit of this second half, you would think Macquarie, with 2 less substitutes, have got to get tired. And that might be just their chance to come at them hard at the end of the game, as they did a fortnight ago at Townsend Oval. I mean, we've seen South make a few late recoveries and late surges over the last month or so.
Yeah, don't write the red and whites out. The red V. South, they haven't lost a game since the 26th of June when they went down to Lakes United. Being down by 10, it doesn't faze them at all. We know what they're capable of, especially when you've got that man in your side in Willie Hedder. It gives it away to Roman for Pulei, and he's tackled. Comes back there now to Higgins. Bit of indecision there. Referee Aylett's going to call it up. That happened right in front of you, Tom. Touchline we go.
That was a bit of an awkward one. It was forward, but it went around Todd Hurrell's back. It was like a little accidental flick pass to Sam Cork, unfortunately. Just went a little bit forward, so I think we might have a changeover because it was the last tackle. So Macquarie got the ball right on halfway.
So Gallen. If you just clicked onto our stream, picked up Representative Player of the Year of the Newcastle Rugby League presentation awards throughout the week, along with Player of the Year in the Newcastle Rugby League competition. Congratulations, Blake. Outstanding effort. So Jordan Noble, he's strong. He's impressive. Got a good offload in him. Demonstrated there. Back then out of Simon. And the
That's
Lightning.
terrific play from Macquarie, moving these South defenders around.
Rolling it forward to Gallen. Gives it to Harmer.
Forwards passing the ball are so dangerous, Peter, because you expect to brace yourself for the tackle, and then all of a sudden the position switches.
So here's the kick. Gallen's coming through. There's going to be pressure. There was pressure from the Scorps, but the ball diffused the situation. So we'll come back out to the 20-metre line for a tap in the centre.
Well, the kick didn't quite come off for them there, but you can see there's a lot of... That attack was really sharp. I like that ball back inside from Josh Schmiedel. He's the sort of bloke, when he gets the ball, you expect him to try and trample you. So if he steps and throws it back inside, it really confuses the rest of the defence.
So the Lions eyeing off grand final. It's been a while since they've been in a Newcastle Rugby League grand final. Hello to Peter Sleep, if you're taking our coverage, wherever you are, mate. An outstanding success, Sleepy's day this year. That's Johnson, up from the Entrust Super Cup. Now to Higgins, looking around, finds Hurrell, he spins into Gallen. Higgins again, back to header. He's going to pump this high. Simon's here, Simon's up, and Jack in the box came down with the football, 5 out from his own goal line.
That was a really sharp take. It was a well-placed kick there from header. He put it up high enough that he had time to get there and contest it. But Matt Simon really always looked comfortable under it, did very well. As we see Matt Hay bringing it away in the number 2 jumper, he's done a really good shift bringing it out of their own end. Very important in rugby league these days to have backs who can do that, and these Macquarie wingers and centres do it very well.
So the green and gold's rumbling forward through Gallen.
What a great carry from Blake Gallen.
Blockbuster form, the big number 13. Back there now to Scotty Briggs. He says, let's play it down the other end of the field. And Jared Flanagan, the competition's leading try scorer with 15 tries, with the number 5 on his back. So that's the 40-metre line. They're about to head across. Just short by about 8 metres. Header, sending it back down to Luke Higgins. Brother of Liam. 17 games this year for Luke Higgins. Now to the captain and the coach in Hurrell. Well, he's just gone without it. He's just put it down there. Todd Hurrell. You can't do this. Touchline we go. Tom Taylor.
He's not happy, Pete. Todd Hurrell is definitely not happy. He seems to think that ball might have been ripped out. But, hey, Tommy Elliot's not going to have a bar of that. Just because Todd Hurrell says it's ripped doesn't make it rip.
This is Josh Schmiedel looking around. Still going Josh Schmiedel. The second rower finally put down there by McIntyre and Tim Christie. Back to Scott Briggs. They're up quickly on Adam Grew, and they needed to stop his offloading ability. Now to Gallen. Here he comes again out the back door. Oh, Simon thought for a moment the man that just went off the screen could have been into open pastures. Not the case. They're falling their way over towards the goal line.
Set play onto the right here, Pete.
Noble. Back to Briggs. He'll kick it in the end goal area. They're coming through. They better play at it. Well, McIntyre, he was cool as a cucumber.
Indeed.
He got fingertip control, goal line dropouts.
I can tell you, I'm never getting into a poker game with Sam McIntyre. Goodness me. He was very calm as that ball was trickling towards the end goal. Matt Simon's got plenty of pace, and he almost had a play on that. And as it is, South have got to kick it out from under their own posts.
The Newcastle Rugby League, week 2 of the final series. Live and exclusive here, Sunday afternoon football. Matt Jeffrey steamrolls himself into Schneider. 15 metres in from touch. Subner giving it away to Brock Harmer. He's been smothered there from Fapulii. Gallen. Briggs. Simon. They're getting closer again. Noble. Gallen. He's after 2. Throws it. Well, he fooled everybody. Held on to it. Back to Briggs. Now to Harmer. They're up by 10 here on Scorp home ground. Noble back to Briggs. He's going to have another shot. This time it might be bingo. Pywell, he says, I've got the bingo numbers. I've come down with it. And he has picked up his 9th try of 2016.
Well, that was a terrific kick from Scott Briggs, but I must say, and we'll see it on the replay in a moment, I think Sam McIntyre lost his bearings a little bit there. He was far too far in from his wing, and in the end, Pywell was just able to claim it relatively untouched. There was nobody within anywhere near him. We'll see on the replay here as Harmer took it to the line. That was a good, strong carry. They had Sumner setting it up to the left. Maybe they expected it to go that way. But as Noble went out to the back to Briggs, look where McIntyre is. He's standing behind the centre, Tim Christie. He's about 15 metres in from the touchline. And Pywell, really, he was the only man within that same postcode over there. And what an opportunity, what a moment that is for Macquarie. I mean, they're 20-6 in front here with half an hour to go. They're going to take some stopping from this point, no matter how many they've got on the bench.
The Scorpions, one might say, charging towards the grand final, Tom.
That's right. They're looking the goods from this point in the game. I'll tell you what, Scott Briggs, that's how you deal with up and in defence. You want to shut down our play like that, and I'll just pop it over the top for our winger to score. Just some news out of the Macquarie bench. Chris Hyde will not return to this game. Regardless, he's in his polo shirt, jeans and thongs. However, Randall Briggs is looking like... It's never a great sign, is it? Yeah, Randall Briggs, however, looks like he will be returning to this game.
Well, if Macquarie can get through this, won't the club welcome the week off? Especially Chris Hyde. Now to Briggs on the touchline. He's got it. Yeah. What a kick. All class here at Lyle Peacock Field thus far.
Well, they've got the wind at their back now, don't they? Maybe not literally, but certainly figuratively. The last 10 minutes of that first half and the first 10 minutes of this one, they've pretty much had all the play. And South are standing at the foot of Kilimanjaro at the moment.
Where in the world would I go for Mount Kilimanjaro?
Kilimanjaro, my friend, biggest mountain in Africa.
Might go there. Wouldn't mind. The highest.
Not quite sure what country it's in, but
highest mountain I've been is half of Barrington Tops. That's over half a mountain.
But not somewhere you want to try and climb in half an hour, is my point.
Have you been there?
No, I haven't.
Would you like to go there?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe an off-season trip.
Indeed.
Well, hey, Chargers back.
Geez, you've got to have a bit of ticker as a winger to run it back like that, don't you? Full line of defenders. It's well and good for big front rowers to do it, but when a winger does it, you can tell they've got a bit of guts.
So Jordan Noble. Now back to Schmidl. There ain't no mountain high enough for Schmidl, nor Gallen. Here he comes again.
Very easy metres here for Macquarie. That's fourth tackle and they're up to halfway. And Scott Briggs very wisely just jamming it on the toe. They can really control the game here and just put it into the corners and let South bring it back.
So 22 points to 6. Big afternoon on Bar TV Sports.
Now then.
Tom, what's happening here?
Yeah, mate, just had a little whistle blown there. We've got a high tackle, so I think he just wanted to settle things down first, have a word with the person involved, and now we've got the penalty to South. So can South's come back from now? They're going to get some pretty decent field position, but we'll see what happens.
Well, they've got to force the game, don't they? And I mean, Willie Head is a good forcer of the game. I think we're going to see some entertaining plays from them at the very least to try and turn things here.
Who are they going to look to? Is it that man? Liam Higgins. Will it be Todd Hurrell? Could it be James Taylor? Had an outstanding match last week, Taylor. Higgins, Hurrell, header. Great ball back on the inside. Sam Cook, can he offload? He can. Oh, for Pouliot. They made it look simple.
I don't think I've seen a better try than that all year. That was beautiful football. Header just held it up, made a cup of tea, finally threw the ball inside to Cook, who was steaming onto it. That was really, really good play. And then the flick pass from Sam Cook, the cherry on top, as we see on the replay here. It was Hurrell getting as close to the line as he could. Lovely ball inside. Harmer didn't know that was happening. And then Cook getting it out the back. You've got to have a bit of guts to throw a pass like that on about third tackle. For Pouliot was good enough to be there in support. And, well, I just said South have got to come up with some trick plays to force the game. That was one of the best.
And for Pouliot, well, he's picked up his first try this season.
And a great one too.
It really was, Tom. So Willie header.
You know, the really unfair thing about that is if we were at, like, you know, Newcastle Rugby League presentation night and we had the try of the year competition, that'd go up on the screen as Roman for Pouliot.
Yeah.
Never mind the bloke who threw the inside ball and then the bloke who threw the flick out the back.
So what you're
But he did well to be
suggesting,
in
we need to
support.
put it back a few weeks.
Quite possibly. That'd be a contender. That was lovely. That was just really high, really difficult skill, put together really well.
And if we do put it back a few weeks, your invitation has an extra 2 weeks to arrive.
Indeed. Well, it hasn't yet, and the presentation was last week. So
Here's header. Will come to Tom after the kick. He's got it. Just sneaks in, doesn't it? Just sneaks in. Tommy, let's go touchline.
I think he might have scraped a bit of the upright with that one, but just going back to presentation night, talking about the awards, one thing I've always wanted to see was the team of the year. So we had the player of the year, we have the rookie of the year, but why not the team of the year? I'd like to know actually what the ultimate team. I know we have the rep team.
do you mean like the best fullback? You know,
yeah,
like
best
like the
fullback,
Dally M
best
team.
winger. We don't
yeah.
have two wingers, just one winger, centre, and the rest.
Sure.
That'd be good to see.
No, I wouldn't mind that. That's fair enough. This could be one of these hot streaks for Souths. We've seen it all year. They, you know, and I mentioned in the first half, they have little patches in a game, you know, 10 or 15 minutes where they're unplayable. There's 27 minutes left to go. If they get on a hot streak here, they're only 2 tries behind.
Stay with us. 26 minutes remaining as Higgins gives it to Jared Edwards. What a try to Jared Edwards when both of these sides last met.
Oh, very slow play the ball here.
Higgins goes for a dart from dummy half. Header. That is Schneider. And swaddling over the top. Higgins looking around. Finding William Header again. Back to Roman for Pouliot. Picked up a try 2 minutes ago. Header. He's going to run. That's when he's the most dangerous. Long ball. Christie, even better ball. Oh. They're coming back on the inside. Where's it going to go? Hurrell's coming through and Sumner kicks it dead.
Who was that bloke who said a minute ago we might see some entertainment here as South chase points? Dear, oh dear. They got a lot of skill in this team, and that looked like it was going to be... looked like it was about to beat the one before his try of the season. If that kick had fallen into someone's hands, looked like Steve Gearin coming up the centre there. As it was, it's a fairly tame end because it's going to be a 20 tap, but that shows what they can do. We'll have a look at the replay here. They would be well advised not to be rushing up because and allowing South to spread the ball late in the count. And gee, Sam Cook almost had a play at that. Very nervous moment there for Macquarie. We can see a lift in the defence as well. Josh Schmiedel getting barrelled there. South are lifting here.
Favielli still going. James Taylor. Well, I said throughout the call, he loves getting his hands dirty. He had to get his hands in the position to pick him up and knock him into the ground on that occasion. So 10-point ball game. Bar TV Sports. Newcastle Rugby League. That's Harmer. Cleaned up by Header. 10 metres in from the Western touchline. He's just lost it there. No, he hasn't lost it. Hands in the play. Tom, hands in the play.
Yeah, mate, that's just unfortunate for South there. Sticking your hand in like that, that's going to do you no favours. I was just looking around at all the South fans and they could see something's brewing here. They were back in this game and now they're just giving away that penalty.
You just can't do it. When you're chasing points, I mean, you're chasing a big deficit against the minor premiers, you've pretty much got to be perfect for the rest of the game to give yourself every chance. Macquarie here, the way they've been attacking, could put that gap right back out to where it was. What a good run from Brock Harmer. Over a couple.
Yeah, great defender, great attacker too. Briggs. He says, give it to me. Knows his job. Noble. Cutting out Gallen. Here's a chance out wide. They're coming back on the infield. And Souths are there to meet them. Johnson's in there. So away to Noble. He finds Gallen. Gallen still rampaging his way to the chalk. So they want to get it out to Scotty Briggs. That's him now. He finds Isaac Briggs. He tried to offload it to Subner, but Fafulii was awake to that. Briggs. Subner. Now to Simon. Steps. Last tackle. Turnover. So 10 minutes remaining.
Well, they got out of jail there. They did that well. Good defence. Managed to muzzle the Macquarie attack. It's up to the forwards here. I'm just trying to get us to see if Brendan Simpson's out on the field. No, he's not, but I may have summoned him. He's just walking up the touchline now, and I think he's the man they need out there. We've seen him lift this forward pack a lot of times over the last month or so, and he'll be just revving to go to do it again.
They come west to east, and Johnson's been smothered by Scotty Briggs.
Yeah, he has, but you've got to say that's a dangerous game that Scotty Briggs is playing. We've seen that once before. As we see the ball come out here, Macquarie are going to come up with it. But if those outside defenders for Macquarie are going to keep rushing up, they are going to give South the opportunity to go around them.
So 20 metres out from the Lions line again. Back to Isaac Briggs. Put away by his opposite number in James Taylor. Comes back to Adam Swadling. He goes out wider. Subner finds Simon. Now to Hay. He comes back on the infield and he's going to be clashed there with William Hetta. He'll play the ball back now. 10 metres out. 15 metres in from the western touchline. Back there now to Briggs. He rolls it forward, Randall. And he's dropped down 5 metres out. He'll play it back there now to Jordan Noble. They'll work the right-hand side. It was a slow play, the ball. They cut out Gallen. The ball's on the ground. Picked up by Simon. Simon still going. He comes back on the infield. Simon looking to straighten up and he takes a tackle here. 15 metres away from the Lions line. Back to Briggs, back to Gallen. Can he spin? Can he offload? He can. Back to Subner. He's tackled. He offloads. Razzle dazzle. Cantor. Now the Lions come up with the ball, Morgan Campbell, and they've come away with it 20 metres out from their own line.
Well, twice in a row they've given Macquarie a chance and Macquarie haven't taken it. They've defended very well, but I don't think they'd want to do it again. I think they're asking a lot of themselves to keep making these tackles and keep getting there in defence. As we said, there's a problem here for Jared Edwards.
What's the problem for Edwards down there on the touchline, Tommy?
Yeah, mate, that was interesting. It looked like the tackle was well complete, and then Scott Briggs comes around the front and sticks his hand in there for some reason. I don't know what was going on there, but Toddy Hurrell's having a few words to Briggs now. As we can see, the referee's called time off again, so we've got time off twice.
Tom Aylett's going to call someone out here and have a bit of a yarn. I'd be interested. We might get a look at a replay here. I suspect we're about to, but dear oh dear, if one of the Macquarie players has done something silly here, let's have a look. So Edwards is down and Briggs gets up and he just kind of, well, what would you call that? I mean, he just kind of holds his fist up against his feet. He didn't hit him. He kind of just grinded his fist up against his face.
I'll tell you what you weren't hoping for is he stick his fingers in his eyes.
I wonder. Well, he may have done that. Let's have a look.
Looks like we're just going to have a play of the ball after all. It doesn't look like anything's happening.
Here he comes. So here's Briggs. He comes around the face and watch that hand. It's a closed fist. So he kind of just mashes his fist up against his sort of nose, I guess, which would be painful, but it's not a punch. There's no suggestion of a penalty. The linesman hasn't said anything.
Maybe he just saw a little bit of snot coming out and he wanted to just pull it off.
Look, it's possible. That might be the defence he uses at the judiciary through the week. I don't know whether that sort of thing would attract a charge, but I don't understand at 22-12 in the grand final qualifier why Scott Briggs would want to do something like that as Brendan Simpson's turned it over straight off the ruck. And, well, there might be a stink here, but there also might be a big chance for Macquarie because this is the third time in a row that South, coming off their own line, have given Macquarie the ball. And, geez, you'd be surprised if they got away with it 3 times.
And here it is on the replay here as they just fumbled their way outside their own 20-metre line, and Adam Swadling in delight to meet Brendan Simpson there, wasn't he? So 10-point ball game here. There's a hush. Goes around the ground here in the major semi-final. 10-point ball game. It's a nice buffer at this point of the match with 20 minutes to go. Winner progressing through to the Tui's Cup Rugby League Grand Final.
You'd have to think this would be a knockout if Macquarie scored here. Huge chance for them.
Garland again leading the pack. Sumner, sharp, dangerous. Cantor. He's within 2 metres of the line. So the Lions, they're right on their own goal line. The Scorpions coming inside the cage by 5 metres to the goal line. Last tackle now for the Scorpions. Sumner out wide. Oh, the ball's on the ground, picked up by the Lions. Well, they've dodged a bullet there, South.
They've dodged 3 bullets. They're playing Russian roulette here, and they keep the barrel keeps smiling on them. Dear, oh dear. They just need to get to the end of a set here. Just forget about chasing points for a minute, South Newcastle. They just need to get to 5th tackle and get it up the other end of the field, because they're never going to get the 23 points if all they're doing is defending their own line. As we see now, there's a problem for Scott Briggs, I think, on the far side. And he's not someone you'd expect to go down easily, so there must be something wrong.
So trainers going in there, bit of concern here. We might be able to have a
for Scott Briggs, yeah.
A replay here, and we do here. It was Christie, the ball carrier.
Oh, I think he got his leg caught in there, Peter.
Awkward position.
Yeah, I think if we see that, I think he was just standing in the tackle, and the momentum of the tackle went his way, and this might be a problem. This could be a bit nasty. So we see it here. See, Briggs is standing over there, and then the player falls his way. And it ends up with all of Tim Christie's weight on the leg of Scott Briggs. That's a nasty little moment for him.
And on top of that, he's hit his head on the way down as well.
Oh, has he? Yeah, well, he's up, but this would be the 3rd injury for Macquarie. It'll be the 3rd injury to a very important player. So even if they do get through and win here, it might be a nervous couple of weeks for them. He seems to want to return to the line, though. Let's see how he goes over the next few minutes.
A lot of the Briggs family in attendance today.
He's getting plenty of encouragement from the handful of fans over there, at the very least.
It's his friends and family over there on the 40-metre line. Getting a bit of a tan in the afternoon setting sun. As Souths, they're not out of this match yet. Adam Bettridge, he knows he's not off to Hunter Stadium just yet, with 18 minutes to go. We've seen Newcastle Rugby League games turn upside down within 5 minutes, let alone 19 minutes remaining in this clash. There's header. He pumps it downfield. Away from Simon. Pops up for him now. And the electric runner from the back hasn't been able to demonstrate too much from the back today into open pace pastures. As we see now, Edwards in there combining with Lewis Schneider.
Now then, there's all of the niggle in this team, in this game, seems to be centred around Jared Edwards in 17 there. He's into it again with Pywell as he plays the ball. He was the one that copped it in the face from Scott Briggs. There's a lot of history between Macquarie and Jared Edwards. Of course, he used to play at the club. There was that terrible incident last year with Thiessen Favielli. I just wonder if this is all a bit personal, because it's no coincidence, I think, that it all started between the teams when Edwards came onto the field.
So Isaac Briggs is being pushed back towards his goal line. They're going to get out of their own half. They needed to. There's the kick that allows them to. And Sam Cook goes away. Wrapped up here in the major semi-final with 17 minutes remaining in the match. Ball comes out the back. Gone backwards, says Aylett. Our referee officiating in his 202nd match in his own personal career. Now rampaging forward is Brendan Simpson. Still plenty of football left in Simpson's legs. Now to Roos. Good offload in him too. We said this game's not over, and that's why Gallon needs to tackle him, and he does. What a run by McIntyre.
Got to come right here, South. They've got them absolutely shot to bits.
Souths spinning it from left to right. Heta, he's going to kick. They're coming through. Edwards, it's gone out the back. It's still on. There's still a chance. There's still a try in him. This game's not going anywhere. This game's not asleep. It's just turned up to be alive.
Well, I didn't expect it to be a kick. They did have the numbers out here when the ball was played. Macquarie recovered pretty well, but Willie Heta got that kick just about right. And the winger over there, Pywell, didn't quite time his jump right. Ended up underneath the ball, as we see here on the replay. Lovely little dabbed kick over there from Heta. And, Pywell just ended up overrunning it. He ended up in front of the ball. Edwards had a play at it, didn't knock it on. And it was just the job there for McIntyre to pick it up under a little bit of pressure and fall over the line. Well, we did say they had a chance to recover. They got a lot of attack in them, and it's been going to the edges and then taking a few risks. And, it's come up for them, and all of a sudden they're 6 and possibly 4 behind with a full 16 minutes to go.
Well, Morgan, we've watched so much rugby league this year. It's not over until the fat lady sings. That's pretty much the objective line this year.
The fat lady's still in the dressing room at this stage. There's plenty of time to go here.
So Willie Heta. That's his equation. That's his angle. That's his eye line. The boos go around the ground. Can he convert the Flanagan try? The crowd putting him off. But Heta, he's about to respond.
Oh, no, it's short.
With a kick that nearly went over.
Well, the line was beautiful. It was arcing away. It was going straight between the posts. And it did go straight between the posts. Sadly, it went under the crossbar. It pitched just on the try line. So, 6 points to gap, 15 minutes to go. We're into the championship rounds now.
And we go to Golden Point if it's locked up at full time.
That's
5
right.
minutes, and then we keep on playing until the lights come on.
I mean, there's a hell of a lot at stake here. Of course, there's a chance to get into the grand final, but there's also a chance to avoid. I mean, it's going to be very nasty, as we see a replay of that kick. It's going to be very nasty. A game up at Curry next weekend against Wests in an eliminator for the other spot. So you want to be getting through this now.
Hurrell. Gallen. Falls off as Johnson heads to the gap.
Pressure on the referees too here, the referee and the linesman here, Peter. I mean, there's a big crowd in here today. There's going to be drama one way or the other. South making good ground.
6 point ball game in a nail-biting major semi-final. Toddy Hurrell didn't play that.
Oh dear, oh dear.
He didn't play that. You could see that from 6 kilometres away.
Well, I would say that's a coach killer, but he's the coach. And he's got to play that a little bit too quickly. You see it happen every week at every level of rugby league. But when you do it with 15 minutes to go in a major semi, chasing points, it hurts. And, well, I can't really have any argument with Tom Aylett's decision there. So Macquarie, I mean, I know it's a long way out. You're 13 and a half minutes to go, but if Macquarie don't fancy the try here, or if they don't look like cracking them, they could almost just pot the one over. It just puts a lot more pressure on South to come up, knowing that they have to come up with 2 tries, not 1.
Yeah, we're inside field goal territory. That's Cantor. Beats 1, beats 2.
That's a great run from Nathan Cantor. He's a really evasive runner, and they haven't had him too involved today. That's what happens when you get him early ball.
Now to Adam Grew. 6 point ball game. Winner to the grand final. Matt Jeffery cleaned up there by Cook. Adam Grew's on the left of Scotty Briggs, who's got the ball now. They cut out Grew to go out the back to Subner. He finds Simon. Simon goes down low, and he's in a touch. Happened right in front of you, Tom Taylor.
Yeah, a bit of deja vu here. We've had a lot of action down in this corner, and unfortunately we haven't seen a try come off yet. So we've had 3 just go out right before, right after that corner post.
It must be on a slope. They must accelerate towards the touchline. They keep going over the sideline.
Oh, there's a couple of magnets in that corner post, and
Must
there's
be.
one in the ball.
Have a look at the replay here. That's very dangerous. I mean, this speed from Matt Simon, but in the end, he just ran sideways rather than straight. If he hits the line straight there with the pace he was going at and then finds someone, they're a big chance, Macquarie.
So
But again, that's the 4th time in the last maybe 10 or 15 minutes that South have turned it over, coming off their own line, and Macquarie haven't punished them. If we're at 22 all in a little while, I think Macquarie will look back at those chances and be a little bit aggrieved. They'll see that as the chance they had to knock South out of contention here.
Well, hold on to your feather hat, Morgan Campbell. 10 minutes to go. As Johnson runs straight to Shamidal. So 15 metres in from that eastern touchline. Now to Higgins. Cook wasn't expecting it. Now he's going across field. He'll offload. Back to Tim Christie. He's got speed. He's got pace. He's got footwork. Taken down there. 10 metres inside. Macquarie Scorps half. They're going to kick this in towards touch. And they're going to find touch, but it's gone out on the full. Let's go touchline. Tommy Taylor, they've kicked it out on the full.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to go for a 40-20 there. I can't see that happening. He had a foot over the 40, and he's kicked it, and he's just put too much on it. Nothing's going South's way in that set.
Well, Greg Ricketts is getting some exercise this afternoon. It's the second time he's had to wave the out on the full move, and that's a shocker. I mean, well, this is chance 5 for Macquarie. This is their 5th go at them. Surely to heavens. I mean, now I think you've got to take the one now. A 7-point lead with 10 minutes to go. I wouldn't even worry. I'd just be taking a few hit-ups and then putting it over and make South try and chase you down.
Greg Ricketts, the fastest touch judge over 40 metres.
We didn't need to be there.
According to Greg Ricketts, anyway.
Yeah.
Every time you ask Greg Ricketts, he'll tell you.
The fans coming down to the fence. Inside 10 minutes to go. The Scorpions. Well, they've got one leg inside Hunter Stadium at the moment. Gallen. Subner. Cantor. He's got Hay. Takes the shot of him. 3 metres in from touch. Captain.
One more and then the field goal, I think, here.
Are they heading towards a field goal?
Yeah, they're heading centre. Nobody, Briggs is not deep enough, you wouldn't think just yet.
Do they want 7? Gallen, he doesn't want anything of it just yet. He wants a ball carrier to come back on the inside. He found Noble.
No, they've said he was held.
But he was held, so he'll play the ball.
Interesting set play. Now they're deep. Sumner's deep here.
So where's Scotty Briggs? There he is now. Doesn't want a field goal. He's going to kick. They want to try. They might just get that. Don't worry about the field goal. Field goal's yesterday's news. Try time. Try time to Shamidal, was it?
Well, sometimes you just get a little bit of luck. I don't think that was what they meant to happen. Briggs got the ball off the ruck there and put the kick in. It was a nice little kick. It was well weighted, but I don't think he quite expected, as we see on the replay, I don't think he quite expected it to just pop up generously into the hands of Josh Schmiedel, who was just able to stroll over and very nearly ran into the car park there in celebration. Macquarie have pretty much done it now. 9 minutes to go, 10 points in front with a kick to come. The kick's a throw over. Well, you're looking for a miracle now from South. Macquarie are heading to their second grand final in 2 years, and I think you'd have to say whoever they play on the 18th of September, they'll be favourites.
I like the little fast feed after the try from Josh Schmiedel. That was cool.
Well, he was trying to do the Porter dance from yesterday. Remember, Porter finished it off in grand fashion as well from yesterday.
It wasn't really a dance, it was just a feet.
He'll get a start on Channel 7's Dancing with the Stars with that.
If there was a dancing show that required dancing from the knee down, I think Schmiedel would have it covered.
Let's invent one. Do you want to be the host?
I don't think that'd take off.
Well, Morgan, he's light on his feet. He dances on eggshells. Our Morgan Campbell, he'd be an up-front starter. Here's the kick now, 26 points to 16. They don't want heavyweights. Here's the kick from right in front. He's nailed it. Well, there you go. It's 28 to 16 now on the stadium. Wow, they're not far away from it, literally.
What do you reckon, Pete? Short kick-off?
Mate, they've got to do something.
I think we're in that territory now. Macquarie, it's been a demonstration of their firepower today, hasn't it, Macquarie? I mean, there's so many different ways they can get at you. They've scored with backline moves. They've scored with force up the middle, and they've scored with some delicate kicks as well. And that's what a premiership winning side has to do. That's what a side that makes the grand final has to be able to do. As we see Thiessen Favielli with a great run there.
That was Higgins forcing the error there. But they're offside, South. The crowd. That was a crowd penalty, Tom. The crowd told him he was off. They were all offside, and he's blown his whistle, Tommy Aylett.
Can't argue that one. Okay.
They were way in front of Tommy Aylett.
Well, it's getting a little bit fractious out there. I think the South players need to remember they've got another game next week. They don't want to do anything silly here and miss out on that game, which looms as an absolute clanger if it is to be South versus West up at Curry next week.
At the graveyard. It will be the graveyard for whoever plays there after 80 minutes next week. That's Adam Grew. He's growing legs down inside the 10. Now Noble finding Gallen. He wants number 2. He offloads it. And Matt Jeffrey. Oh, they're dancing all the way to Hunter Stadium now. Their grand final bound in 2016.
Well, that's Hello Chicks fantasy football stuff, that from Blake Gallen. That was absolutely sensational. He just barreled into them, kept the legs going, and then threw the big flick pass out the back. You don't often see that from a lock forward. And we'll catch the replay in a moment. He's pretty pleased with himself too. That's not the sort of play that won him the Player of the Year award, but he would have won it twice if he'd been doing that all year. Have a look at this. Noble out of dummy half. He gets the good pace out of there. Gallen almost was surprised at how much space he had, and then a beautiful flick pass out the back to Matt Jeffrey, who half an hour before kickoff wasn't supposed to be playing. And Macquarie now, 32-16. They've gone away with this. They've just got too much attacking prowess in this team. And, well, I'm afraid to say South just haven't handled them over the course of this game. That's the 6th try, and that just shows you how good Macquarie have been with the ball.
Well, Blake Gallen, we've said it throughout the entire call. If he's not scoring tries himself, he's setting them up. Demonstrated perfectly. Stabs at it. They've got it. The crowd roar. Let's go touchline. Tommy Taylor.
Blake Gallen. We've seen him score tries with his strength. We've seen him score try today with his agility and speed. We've seen him throw a long cutout pass that puts Scott Briggs through a gap. We've seen him save a try. And now we've seen a flick ball. What else is he going to do? He's going to do a Nathan Blacklock flip after his next try?
Well, that's the thing, Tom. What else does he have in his game of rugby league? I'm sure he's got plenty of more skills to show on grand final day. That's Shamidal. Just having a bear hug there with Benny Roos, who is the human shield built with metal. So the crowd here, they'll be back in a fortnight to Hunter Stadium. They'll travel down in their thousands. Last year they were there. Wasn't so a happy 80 minutes of football. They got rolled by Lakes. Will 2016 be the year of the Scorpions? As Edwards, he says, I'm not done yet, Scorps. Come and get me. Go and get the ball. Go and try your best with Header. Header says, well, you better go after Cook now, Gallen. And Gallen comes back and wraps up Cook. They work the left.
Trouble here for number 14, Peter. That's Jordan Noble. Might be the curse of the dummy halves here today, but he's back to full fitness now and running back into the line.
The penalty from right in front of the post as Adam Grew gives one away late. 4 minutes to go. Tupou rumbling down to the goal line. Down by 18 as he's lost it. He's just lost it there. And Souths. Wow. They'll be heading to the graveyard now to take on Western Suburbs Rosellas in the final next Sunday afternoon, live and uninterrupted right here on Bar TV Sports with Morgan Campbell.
Well, Macquarie here, I mean, one of the, I'm sure, while the real NRL board and whatnot, I mean, they're impartial, but I think they'd be very pleased to see Macquarie in the grand final because they're going to bring every one of these people who are here at the ground today along, and a few more besides. The fact that Macquarie are playing will guarantee a big crowd. You can sense it around the ground. They're just feeling this year. People are really behind them, and it's going to be a big day on September the 18th, whoever it is that they happen to be playing against.
Yeah, make sure you get your tickets early. We cracked 10,000 at Hunter Stadium last year for the grand final. Aiming for 15,000 plus this year. Shamidal. He won't want to be anywhere else other than Hunter Stadium in a fortnight. Nataguru.
Real contrast between this game and the one that these two sides played last year. It was really, they were both really quite similar games in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Back at Towns, that could be the third out on the full of the season. There you go, of the game. There you go. Not often you see that.
Nearly hit you right on the head, Tom.
Yeah, you had to duck and weave.
Like they got the old Matrix moves going.
Of course, back at Townsend Oval a couple of weeks ago, it was a similar situation, South chasing points, but it was them that found the really good attacking plays, got themselves back into it and got themselves home. By contrast here, it's gone the opposite way. Close in the last 20 minutes, but Macquarie coming up with all the right plays and running away with it.
So they'll have the week off, Macquarie. A few injuries coming out of this match. The most notable one is for their super fit and strong crafty hooker in Chris Hyde. He'll be hoping to be back for grand final day. Hasn't been. He'll be right. As we see now, they take it forward. This is Tupou. He's been put down there, 10 metres away. Can the Lions sniff out a try late here? Back to Heta. Out it comes the Edwards. Oh, Flanagan. He had the line open, but he had the fumble 3 metres from going over. Counting it down. 1 minute 20 to go.
Bit of comic relief at that last penalty, Pete. Blake Gallen had the ball and tucked it under his shirt. He hid the ball away as he was walking back onside. No one knew where the ball was. That's why Tommy Aylett had to blow time off and get that ball out of his gut.
Well, the Macquarie players are all high-fiving and sort of congratulating each other as if the match is over. There's still 1 minute and a quarter to go. So they've now got to form up and do this scrum and do another set. But they're entitled to be very proud of themselves. I know they made the grand final last year and were very competitive in it, but they're a better side this year by a long way. They're a lot cleaner. They're a lot less hard on themselves. They don't make as many mistakes. They don't give away as many penalties. And as I said a minute ago, I think they've got to be favourites, whoever they play, on that basis.
And their head coach, Adam Bettridge, the coach of the year throughout the week. An outstanding job by Adam. He's changed the culture here on the lake. Barry Moore laid the foundations. And Adam's come in and changed the interior. And it's shining all the way to grand final day. So we've only got 20 seconds left here in the major semi-final. Gallen going backwards and takes it over the touchline. What a match by that man. What a week it's been for Blake Gallen. The crowd getting excited, boys. 6 seconds to go. You'll hear the siren go any second now. And Macquarie, they're through to the 2016 Newcastle Rugby League Grand Final. They'll have the week off now. Who will they face? We'll find out next week at the Graveyard. It'll either be Western Suburbs or their opposition in the South Newcastle Lions.
Yeah, they are through to the grand final, and you'd have to say they deserve to be for all the reasons we've talked about today. And I think, I've got to say, Peter, they'll be grateful for that week off because they had 3 players with injury problems there. Scott Briggs had a little bit of a problem but played on. As we're getting the replays in front of you here, there were some lovely tries scored this afternoon by Macquarie. That was one of the better ones, I must say, that lovely backline move early in the game. They've also had the problem for Chris Hyde. It'll be a race for him for the next 2 weeks to see if he's fit. And then also, they had another player go down, Randall Briggs. So those 3 have got an extra week to be fit. And the South players have got to go and bash up against West for 80 minutes next week. So straight away there are advantages to Macquarie. I think they're the favourites in a fortnight's time. And I think they richly deserve to be there. And it'll be a big crowd, whoever they're playing, next Sunday at Hunter Stadium, in two Sundays' time at Hunter Stadium.
Gallen, the man who's going to get it now. What a try this was to the lock forward. Stepped off his left, stepped off his right, and they weren't going to get him. And that was only the first half. In the second half, he might not have got another try, but he set up at least 3.
Well, these highlights are going to take a while, Peter. There were 9 tries scored today. It was a very entertaining game.
And Gallen again, look at him, always lurking around. You know, for a look forward, he's the master. And this little fella, well, the apprentice, one might say, giving it away there to Josh Schmidl. And the hard-hitting second rower ended up getting his 8th try this year, and then Briggs just put it on the toe, pinpoint accuracy, and Pywell, well, he crashed over for his 9th try of the year. And then it came this way to Hurrell. We thought for a moment Souths could get back into it, and Cook picked up his 6th try before giving it away to Fapulii. And Fapulii, well, he was just too big and strong, wasn't he, from there? He picked up his 1st of the year. And then all of a sudden, Souths again were sniffing their way to the goal line. Beautiful kick it was from Header. And all out there from Flanagan, and he just crawled over the line. And at this point, I thought Adam Bettridge was probably getting a little bit nervous. But from here, a beautiful kick. And who was on the back end of that? It was Josh Schmidl. And he picked up his 8th. And he did an absolute beautiful dance, which absolutely made Porter's dance look pretty dismal after yesterday's Porter movement. But this was the try again that sealed the deal and sealed them their 2nd spot in the grand final in 2 consecutive years. And Matt Jeffrey had the honours to crash over. And there's the crowd that have stuck by this club in the thick and the thin over the years. Adam Bettridge in his 1st year as coach here at Macquarie. He's made an impact in the whole lake. The supporters, the club, the sponsors will be absolutely thrilled. Along with that man on the screen now, Daniel Abraham, a former Newcastle Knights. He's coaching assistant here at Macquarie. Both of them have been able to form a formidable squad, and now all of them, including Abraham and also Bettridge, making their way through to Hunter Stadium for the grand final. We'll be on air, and we won't miss a bit of that grand final. But before we get to Hunter Stadium, we'll be back on air next Sunday for the final. And the final, mate, you're going to be calling that one, Morgan?
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. South and West, they've had 3 games so far this season. The first game, West got away from them, really touched them up, 24-0 at half-time, ended up getting home 32-4. Then the second game, South came home hard and beat them. And in the third game, it was a 16-all draw. So it sets the scene beautifully. They've had some good contests this year. They're local rivals. That'll be a belter with a place in the grand final at stake.
We'll see you next week, Tom.
Yeah, mate, definitely can't wait. After what we've seen today and yesterday, I'm thinking next Sunday's going to be a cracker of a game.
Yeah, we'll be on air from 2:45 up at the Graveyard. I hope you can join us then from the Curry Sports Ground. It'll be the final of the Tooheys Cup of 2016. Western Suburbs and South to book a spot with Macquarie in the 2016 Newcastle Rugby League Grand Final. Until then, have a great night. Bye for now.